Singing Dutchman Productions. Hello and welcome to Doug's Front Porch, a podcast where I get to sit down with friends, old and new, and have honest conversations. Today, I am so excited. We have a very, very special guest that has agreed to come up on the front porch, and that is the one and only Da Belsnickel. Belsnickel, welcome to the front porch.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Douglas. It's a pleasure to be here. It's almost Christmas, so you better watch out.
I know, and I couldn't believe that you took time out of your busy schedule. I mean, this is your busy time of year to be able to come sit with me a little bit on the front porch, but I couldn't turn up the opportunity to introduce my audience to you, our great Belsnickel. So let's tell there are probably people out there listening to this that have no idea what the Belsnickel is. Can you give them a quick who are you? What are you? Who are you, Belsnickel?
Well, there are many different opinions about who I am. And my impression is that I'm most relevant as that creepy guy who shows up right around Christmas time to ensure that all of the children have been very good throughout the year. And if they are, I have treats for them. And if they're not, I have switches and a burlap bag to stuff them in. Does that kind of answer your question? Some people say that I am St. Nicholas, and perhaps a dirty, angry, disgruntled St. Nicholas. Others say that I am the devil. There are many different impressions, but I don't know exactly how relevant those questions are to your interview. But I will say that it's up to you to decide which you think I might fit better.
Okay. Well, here's a follow-up question. Belsnickel, we know Santa Claus lives at the North Pole. Where do you live?
Wouldn't you like to know? I live in every dark corner of your house, of the forest, and I creep around at night when you are not aware of it to make sure that I can keep tabs on your behavior.
Belsnickel, do some kids write you letters like they write Santa Claus?
Every once in a while, I get a good one asking questions about behavior, whether or not something is worthy of punishment, or perhaps whether or not there's some aspect to my character that they have in question based on old traditions. Every area has their own stories of who I am and what I do and what I bring with me and how I treat everybody. So there are many different perspectives. Some people even think that I'm a family member of theirs dressed up just for the occasion, but I will tell you that I most certainly am not.
Okay, I have to ask the question. I get the gifts. It's Christmas time, but why hit the kids? Why be so rough with them?
Well, would you want your kids growing up without a healthy fear of the dark side of life? Truly? And in a controlled environment, because of course I show up and the parents are there, so they are entirely complicit in whatever takes place. I mean, usually we don't get too crazy with things, but just a little gentle gesticulation with my switches is often enough to strike the fear of Christmas into the children, right?
Yeah. How about the parents? Have you ever had to be a little rough with the parents? Because parents are bad throughout the year sometimes too.
I'm usually rougher with the parents, quite frankly. I find that kids really only get into a certain kind of small spectrum of mischief, usually a pretty predictable types. The parents, on the other hand, they're usually the worst offenders.
So you're busy this time of year, but what do you do the rest of the year when you're not, out visiting people?
Uh, you know, um, well, kicked back by the fire and sweat. Um, Sometimes I cut new switches. Other times I mend the holes in my burlap sack so that I can more effectively stuff misbehaviors into my sack and drag them off to the fires of hell. Oh, did I say that? Oh my gosh. Um,
Belsnickel, is there a certain type? Here's a question for you. Your switches. Is there a certain type of wood that makes a better switch than others?
well, some people prefer willow because it's flexible. It can be soaked, so it's extremely flexible and wet, and then applies a very elastic action when striking with them. But I prefer birch.
I like your choice so that when you're walking through the woods or wherever to the next place and you get a little hungry, you can chew on those switches and get that nice birch taste, right? Or am I over exaggerating maybe how you walk through the woods? I don't know, Belschnickel.
You know, Douglas, I'm insulted. I'm sweet enough. I don't need to chew on birch switches.
Yeah, you definitely sound sweet. Yeah, absolutely. So, for people that have never been visited by you, let's say that their kids have been good because, it's Christmas time. What type of gifts might you give to their kids?
Maybe some, hard candy that has some pocket lid stuck to it. Um, years ago, we would make the kid years ago we would make the kids grab peanuts off the floor. I would throw them on the floor, and the kids who pushed the others out of the way. This is one of the diagnostics.
Yeah.
Not only do I sometimes get reports from parents about behavior, but I can also witness through the gift giving process which ones are the greedy ones, which ones might need a little bit of encouragement to share with their siblings. So we would throw nuts or candy on the floor. Sometimes it'll be chocolate candy. Sometimes I bring lumps of coal just to change things up a little bit. I mean, who doesn't need a lump of coal to help keep their house warm during the winter, right?
Right.
I mean, come on now. That's a gift. That's something they should treasure, right?
So, Belschnickel,
Yeah,
you're not bringing like new iPhones and the latest technology type stuff for kids, are you?
Why would I do something like that?
I don't know. I guess it'd be heavier for your sack too, since you don't have flying reindeer, right, Belschnickel?
Well, given the fact that Foxconn is behind on producing iPhones right now, I'm not sure there would even be enough to fill my sack, which appears to have infinite capacity
Oh,
for those who
infinite.
are misbehaving. And no, I don't have reindeer. Um, I don't really believe in that sort of a thing. The idea of harnessing up these wild animals. This is this time of year when I think we should be unleashing the wild animals as opposed to harnessing them and making them bear the burden of our consumer wants and needs at the Christmas time. I mean, come on, what do you take me for?
Belschnickel, I can't. You must always be. I mean, the comments you just made about how we're living in this consumer society. It's 2022. I bet you have a lot of sleepless nights just shaking your head at how this world has turned out. Do you struggle with that, Belschnickel? And do you see it as your mission to bring us back in some way?
There's this thing called the circle of influence, and there's only certain things in this world that I can influence. Those things outside of my circle, outside of my own behavior, I really can't do a whole lot about. Although my circle of influence also includes switches and modification of other people's behavior. So I have a little bit of influence, but I try not to get too carried away about the forces of our social dynamics regarding consumerism here in this culture right now. But I will say that times are much different. And in fact, I've experienced that people are much more entitled about what they think they deserve each year. It used to be that, you got an orange and that was something big and special. Nowadays, you got to get everything. And then, it gets worse every successive year. You got to get more and more and more adults are buying gifts for each other as though somehow or other this is the time of year for adults to buy stuff that they don't need for other people and force that upon them. I mean, who really wants that this time of year? More stuff to put in your closet. You just got to keep out of the way, or dust put on the mantle or whatever. I mean, who really needs all that stuff?
Like life, it's making life too busy, right, Belschnickel? We need
Way
to
too
simplify.
busy.
Yeah, I agree.
We
Belschnickel,
should
how
keep to
old?
the basics,
Yes,
candy, switches, burlap sacks, chains, and
change.
fire.
But fire, okay, fire. Belschnickel, how old are you? Well, he must have to think, Belschnickel. I put you on the spot. I'm sorry. Or aren't we allowed to know how old you are?
I am older than humanity,
Oh my
but I am
gosh.
younger than you might think.
Belschnickel, you're like a walking riddle here. I don't. Unbelievable. I got a couple more questions for you though. Hey, what's your relationship with Santa Claus? Do you know the guy? Like, are you the yin to his yang or something? Like, what's
Or
that?
the yum to his yuck. Or
Oh,
maybe I'm the yuck to his yum.
so
I
do
don't
you,
know.
do you know him?
Of course I know him. I
Okay.
can't stand the guy. I think he's a pushover. Let's all these kids come up to him and say, I want this, I want that. And then he's supposed to do it for him. And then somehow the parents are complicit in this whole process. Ay, 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 ay. What do you take me for? You think I should be part of that?
No, I just was wondering, like, if at the end of the Christmas season, like, you and him, like, sit down and talk about how everything went. Like, do you have like that kind of relationship, or is it totally
Every
like,
once in a while. I mean, most of the year he stays up at the North Pole. I stay out of the North Pole and he stays out of the inferno where I live.
okay, okay, okay. So you agree to disagree.
We agree to disagree every once in a while. We'll get together and share some trade secrets. I mean,
Oh,
he does
trade
have
secrets.
elves working for him, and he has a really hard time managing those elves. In fact, I think the elves are far more creative than he is,
Oh,
and he is absolutely wasting their potential most of the time.
okay.
So I have to give him a little bit of pep talk on positive managerial approaches to elves. He's not very good at that sort of a thing. He
Okay.
gets very preoccupied with these lists, and he makes these long, long lists that he can never stay on top of. And I say, Santa, you need to prioritize.
Yeah. I could see that. I could see that. Hey, Santa Claus likes his milk and cookies. Just last question about Santa Claus. But Belschnickel, what do you like? If you're coming to my house, what would you prefer I put out on the table for you?
Um, do you have a bucket of tar and a paintbrush? Or should I say maybe a straw?
But what? Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Well, Belschnickel,
How
you
about the souls of the condemned?
what? Do they fit on a plate? I'll put I don't know.
Can you put them into an icing pipette that I can just suck on?
Oh my goodness. Okay, okay, you've given me some ideas for this year. I'll have to see what I can conjure up, but I don't know.
Good luck.
Well, Belschnickel, I love that you came on the front porch, and we end every conversation with 10 quick questions that have nothing to do with anything we talked about so far. So I can't wait to hear your answers. Are you ready, Belschnickel?
Oh, I'm ready as I'll ever
Oh,
be.
okay, Belschnickel. Number one, what is your morning drink of choice?
Coffee, and I like it the way I like my metal, strong and black.
Okay, Belschnickel drinks coffee. We got that check mark. Okay, Belschnickel, who is a go-to musical artist or group for you?
Tom Waits.
Tom Waits. Okay. Hey,
Yeah, I
Belsch.
hang out with him in the garage all the time.
Oh my gosh.
Sometimes he consults with me about improvisational instruments, things that you might be able to hit a little bit, some
Yeah.
chains, some things that clank, some things that make some noise. I'm very good at that.
Belschnickel has a great music taste. Okay, that
What
is
did you
awesome.
expect?
I didn't know what to expect. I thought maybe you were going to say like Black Sabbath or something, but Tom.
I ate Ozzy for breakfast
Oh,
yesterday.
okay, okay. Whoa, okay. All right, Belschnickel. What movie can you watch over and over again and it never gets old?
It's a wonderful life.
But do you really like the ending of that? It's a great movie, but I would
Wait,
imagine.
wait, there's an
Do you always
ending?
uh, do you always stop it right after the bridge scene?
No, 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 no. You misunderstand. It puts me to sleep. I fall asleep
Oh,
and I sleep like a baby.
oh, okay, 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 okay.
That
Uh,
Mr. Potter, he's a hero.
Mr. Potter, he's yeah, okay, okay, okay. Number four. What's the last thing that you read, Belschnickel?
um, I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
What did you do you ever read, Belschnickel? Like books and stuff?
Well, I try to avoid the reading thing sometimes because Santa gets way carried away with that whole list thing, and he's always reading. I
Yeah.
think when I really need some good ideas for behavior modification or punishment, I'll just read the Bible.
Okay. Oh, especially Old Testament stuff?
I got a really big, heavy one that I can drop on your head next time you need a wake up call in the morning.
Oh my goodness. Okay, okay. Number five. Belschnickel, what's your favorite pizza topping? Do you eat pizza, Belschnickel?
Dead skunks.
Dead skunks. Skinned out or fur and hair on?
Fur and hair on.
Oh my
I like
goodness.
them pickled. You put them in a little bit of saltwater brine. Just let them sit there for a while. You sometimes squeeze the stuff out of them, and They're delicious.
Oh, okay. I've never had it. I'll have to see if I can find
I
that
get
somewhere.
sashimi grade skunks from up on
Sashimi.
the mountain.
Oh.
Up in Schuylkill County, they can get them for you.
Oh, the skook skunks are the best. Yes, I've heard that from other people. Okay, okay. Um, Belsnickel, do you prefer laying on the beach or going for a hike?
I don't really want to do either.
Oh, oh,
It
okay.
sounds it sounds kind of uncomfortable. I don't like getting sand in my furs that I wear on a hike. Like why bother? I just walk through the brush all the time. I walk through the forest and there's thorns and I harvest my birch. Why would I want to go just like walk in the woods, which is what I do all the time anyway?
Okay.
Is that
Yeah,
recreational?
I don't know. Fair enough, Belschnickel. You've invited me over for dinner. What are you making?
I didn't invite you.
I'm sorry. Well, I mean,
What are you
hypothetically,
talking about?
hypothetically, if you
Oh,
invited
come
me,
on. I didn't invite you. I never said that. That's rude.
Sorry. Well, okay. I mean, I'd try some of that skunk pizza if I came over. I mean, I'd try
If I
it.
shared it with you,
Oh, okay, okay. What would we drink? Like, can if I came over?
asphaltum.
Oh,
You got to
okay.
thin it out with a little bit of gasoline.
Uh, okay. That must be rough the next morning.
I mean, only for some of us.
Okay, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Belschnickel, do you have a dream vacation destination?
A dream vacation. You mean like a vacation I take in my dreams?
Well, yeah. Or is there
What do
some?
I have to dream about it? Like
No, no. Is there some place that you've always wanted to visit?
Chuck E. Cheese, but they won't let me in.
I understand. Okay,
I
yeah.
always wanted to go to a place where the central icon is a giant rat.
Handing out skunk pizza, right?
Do they have that there? Or do I have to
Well,
bring my own
you'd have to bring
skunks?
your own, I think. Yeah. Belschnickel, I can't imagine what your answer to this question is going to be, but what's something you're afraid of? Are you afraid of anything? Because you're a pretty scary guy.
I think I might be afraid of this question.
Oh, why? Because I'm making you like think about yourself, Belschnickel? Maybe you
Wait,
should
wait.
do that every once
I,
in a while.
I can I can do that.
Yeah, well,
About myself.
you could, you
Are you
could.
asking me to be self-centered,
No,
Douglas?
no, Belschnickel. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have asked the question. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, I got one last question for you, Belschnickel. What is a job other than what you currently do that you would love to do? Like if you could wave a magic wand and all of a sudden you could have any job in the world, what would it be, Belschnickel?
Um, maybe I could be a bellhop at the Ritz.
Really?
I've always loved elevators, but they'll never let me on them.
Oh, and all those people be coming in the door all the time, and you could like
Oh yeah,
grill them. You could grill
welcome.
them right there.
What floor? How deep does it go?
Oh, Belschnickel. Oh man, I can't thank you enough for taking some time out of your busy schedule to come up on the front porch here. And before you leave, can you tell me was I good or bad this year?
Well, now, Douglas, you just lectured me on thinking about myself and self-reflection. Don't you think you could answer your own question there? How about this? This is what I normally ask the kids.
Yeah.
What did you do this year that was so very good that entitles you to a gift?
Oh, okay.
How about I ask you a question,
Yeah.
Douglas?
Okay. Yeah.
What did
Sure,
you do
Belschnickel.
that was so good?
That this year
This year.
I
Mhm.
well
Since the last time I hit you with my switches.
I know, and I still have the mark. Thanks, but every day I look at it, it reminds me to behave myself. So I think I think I was pretty good this year. I spent a lot of time with my family, and
That's
I had a good my garden did really well, and I worked hard in my garden this year and tended my vegetables.
And did
And
you torture those poor vegetables afterwards by chewing them up, cooking them down, smashing them, slicing them? What do the vegetables think about your behavior this year, Douglas?
Well, I don't know. I helped my dad butcher too because a good son helps his parents.
Butcher.
Yeah, we did. So I think I was a good boy this year, and I taught some people Pennsylvania Dutch. I taught them some Pennsylvania Dutch words and stuff.
That's pretty good. So I'll excuse the abuse of the vegetables and the carving up of the animals, just for the sake of some teaching some Pennsylvania Dutch to people out there. That's wonderful.
Well,
du hast a gute Job getan.
gross Dank Belsnickel. I hope that you have some walnuts or something in your bag for me then.
Oh, some walnuts. You think
Yeah.
I eat those?
No, but when I was
I
a
use
kid,
them to lure the squirrels ever closer.
oh. Well, Belsnickel, I'm going to let you go because I know you got a lot of houses to visit here. And I want to wish you, whether you want to hear me say it or not, I want to wish you a Heilige Christdag, which is Pennsylvania Dutch for those people out there that don't know, a Merry Christmas.
Well, do all, Douglas.
Oh, thanks,
Ich hoffe,
Bells.
du and Goody, Grishdag, and New York. Oh,
Gross, Dank Belsnickel. Thanks so much. And maybe we'll get a chance to talk sometime in the near future.
ja, hoffentlich. Wir kennen du, wann du Zeit hast.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Douglas.
Oh, thank you,
All
Belsnickel. Mox gut.
Ja, du all. Schaff nicht zu hart.
Thank you for listening to Doug's Front Porch, a conversational podcast with your host, Doug Maidenford. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love for you to subscribe, rate, and give a review on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. 5 stars only, please. Follow along on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just look for Doug's Front Porch. Also, please feel free to tell all of your friends about the show, and I'll see you all next time on my front porch.